guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo. The realms make monsters all of us. This is the front cover. So I saw the second book and I was like, ooh, I'm intrigued. I didn't realise that Fairy did the book of this, but obviously I didn't get the first book. So Fairy did the hardback cover of City of Spells. Both of my books are in paperback. That's fun. So they got the night place, you have purple, like knowing you drop something in the water and it gives that kind of spiral sound. It looks like that. With this, I do have this book as well. The Street of Krieg of Deadly and the Dreamers, and 4 crooks knows just how much magic they need to be up their sleeves to survive. Tavia sells dark charms and potions until she can escape the city. Wesley does whatever it takes to further his criminal empire. Karam makes a deadly name for herself in the fighting rings, and Saxony plots revenge on the people who destroyed her family. Other sinister new magic hits the city. These 4 outsiders must come together to save the city before it's too late. But with enemies all sides, they can trust nobody, least at each other. That was definitely a ride to it though. So in the book, we have a back. We have, of course, a map, which always helps us. Who loves a good map in a book? Come on. So you have different concerts. So you have the concert at HQ, we have a station road, we have a high town, the magic market, the crook. Oh, so cool. And then, and literally just a few pages out, time will be carried in strange hands, across the realm and through stranger lands. What is done will be undone, a battle lost is a battle won. When midnight rings on a child's betrayal, your every success is doomed to fail. Just reading that was like, oh, okay, fair enough then. It's kind of like a ouch. So our story begins on the streets of Sea with Tavia, a young woman who paddles dark magic waves with a dream of escaping and leaving the life behind. There's also Wesley, and then you have Kramer, who is a warrior who serves as a bodyguard during the day, but by night she spends her time in the fighting rings, making a deadly name for herself. Finally, the Saxon, her sister fighter, who's hiding from those who ruined her family and will do anything she can get to revenge on. When Tavia mistakenly gives a vial of dark magic to her loved one, she sparks a conflict larger than the 4 players. Now they must work together, but with enemies at all sides, they can't trust anyone, least at all of all each other. Make no mistakes, friends, this isn't a happy story. At first I was frustrated because I often read stories of characters who slowly lose their innocence, which gives characters an added depth and make them more relatable. Not having them made me rub more raw, making me feel as bleak as they were, and desperate for relief. But like, I almost put the book down because I felt like it was getting nowhere fast, but suddenly these characters began to show you snippets of themselves made before horrors came, before those terrible nightmares made them into jaded individuals. Some of the characters show their aspects faster, but the ones that make you wait are worth it. I never had a book sink its claw into me this way before. The plot grows quickly with 4 sides of the book, 4 character sides. It gets quickly tangled, but the author keeps their voices separate and easy to follow. It moves along at a fairly moderate pace, not so fast that you're struggling to keep up, but not as slow, but you want to put it down. Moreover, I was fascinated by the magic system. It's a community that's been bartered around, and more importantly, there's addictive quality to it. A lot of stories look at the magic behind their glossary classes that has been the end of it all, but not here. Magic is dangerous, too much addictive, and the dangers are very real. I wanted to keep exploring more magic. I definitely want to see more in the next book, which lucky for me, I have. So character-wise, Tavia is my favourite. The self-awareness about her is credible, something that seems to be achieved thanks to her circumstances. Her stubborn and reckless behaviour is fun to read, and a nail-biting thriller. Her friend with Saxony is wonderful, while also knowing the framed relationship between her and Wesley and Karam. Honestly, the tension that fills each and every character relationships are so great. There's also something that I can't talk about because of the spoilers, but man, I am excited to see what of that voice again in the next book. There's definitely romance in this book, the slow kind that makes you want to push something together and say and yell kiss already. We've got rekindled romance, that kind that full of long glances, pushes each other boundaries to see who fought in first. I enjoyed both romances, but the family relationships are truly where it's at. The thematics are truly heartbreaking and just another level to anguish these characters experience. I don't feel like there's one story that's mostly heartbreaking, but there is definitely one that we don't go and spoil in this book that I'm dying to find out. Overrate, I would rate this story like an 8 out of 10. It was a wonderful read with awesome characters. I'm excited to what comes in this next book. You should definitely give it a read if you love the high stories. And I also have 2 Killer Kingdom as well to read, and I literally cannot wait to read that book too. So, what to read, and I cannot wait to read these. So, City of Spells is next. Both these books will be put together. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Bye. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we have City of Spells by Alexandra Christo. And this was a book of, the first book really got to me, right? The second book, it overturned. The time for heroes is over. So now this one has got the background, this is red and dark and gleaming, but pops, you know? So that. So, see, that is the next book that's going to be off this one. The Forest of Rishia isn't for the weak, it's for the wicked. As the Kingpin's dark magic spreads, his army conquers Crete, Tavia, Saxony and Karam, flees across the realms to rebuild the rebellion. Meanwhile, Wesley must fight against the deadly power that divides his mind and find a way back to his friends before it's too late. With the fate of the world in their hands, these four crooks must decide just how far they're willing to go, and how much they're willing to sacrifice to win. So in this book, we have a different map. But we have the bat in there still as well. So if you hear any noise background, it's like tap. When it gets tap or starts running, it makes a weird noise. So we have this, and then we have this little thing as well. Time will be carried in stranger hands, across the realms through stranger lands. What is done will be undone, a battle lost is a battle won. That definitely got to me. I love when stuff like this happens. This is a group of thieves, and it turns out like a heist kind of thing in the first book. Now it's just a book that really does intrigue me more and more. So, when I first read the first book, I was left in tatters wondering what could she possibly do with the characters next. The world of Crete is so fierce, dangerous, and incredibly violated. All of the needs and spark of villainy to plunge the darkness into the dark, underworld into darkness. So when I picked up City of Spells, I knew I was in for the edge of my seat, why that would leave me breathless, and readers certainly would not be disappointed. Moreover, I found myself falling in love with the characters all over again. It was great reading about Tavia and Tava, I can't say her name, Tavia? I'll say that. And Saxioni fractured friendship, but overall there's a big theme about healing going on in this story, and that perhaps makes the journey even more worthwhile. There's definitely one to add onto your list to read. If you haven't picked up the first book of this trilogy, you definitely want to get onto it. Turn back if you don't want to be spoiled. With the loss of Wesley and the reveal that Zekia has been helping the Kingpin willingly, Tavia, Saxony and the Karam are forced to flee Saxony's home to attempt to rebuild the rebellion. At the same time, Wesley is fighting the tortures of the darkness being inflicted upon him by Kingpin and Zekia, and he has found a way out before it's too late. The group will have to decide just how far they're willing to go in order to save Sikri and the ones they love before everything is lost. Man, I wasn't sure how this story was going to go, but it begins as just as dark and gritty as the first installment. We've got some interesting backstory that became very relevant towards the middle and end of the book, along with snippets of each character, a beloved character doing. Tavia's reckless doing her own best to rally support for the rebellion, which also antagonising Saxony every chance she gets. Naturally, she's still reeling from some betrayal and hurt. I love the focus that Christy puts on the relationship, even though it's how it ends up putting a larger focus on Karam. These two definitely clashed for a majority of the last book, but with the strain of the Saxon relationship with Tavia, Karam really steps up to try and protect her in the best way she knows how. So don't get me wrong, I hated her character for Montreal, so this is Zekia's. But it was hard for me to, because of the kids are making some pretty tough choices. Wesley's a pretty dark pace, and while he's not lost hope, he's pretty close to it. Zekia's choices doesn't make it any easier. With the story progressing quickly, there's a bit of a need to make sure you're taking your time to read carefully so you don't miss anything. Like, for me, I normally, like, when I'm reading, I end up skipping the page and I'm like, no, I can't do that. So there's a little tidbit of pieces that will randomly create a big rich picture for what is come. With so much action happening in this book, there seemed to be less focus on the magic. So the magic aspect of the third book was more enjoyable than the sequel. Romance in this book definitely wasn't disappointing, but this book just doesn't revolve around romance. The little scenes that we can get each couple was enjoyable, and they made more sequel and delight. I'm also a sucker for good confessions. The author definitely did justice to the romance in this book. The significance of family versus blood relations was also incredibly important in this novel. There's quite a bit more talking about that in the book, but I wasn't expected to go the way. But there is something quite special about the discussion as well. Even though even though there's quite a bit going on in the book, there was satisfying revolution and an end to the story that readers will enjoy. Some might certain things come in, which is absolutely okay, but others might just see as a surprise when you get certain scenes in the book. If you definitely liked this book, I think it was definitely a good 8 out of 10 as well. I do love a book that has this in it, and I fully enjoyed it very, very much. So yes, this was everything we've got for this book, and next up we have Children of Kingdom, to be honest. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Bye.